guys? It's John Moore with the Texas College Football Show. Okay, we're 3 weeks away from the start of the season. Texas College Football Show is going to cover all of the Texas FBS College Football Division I teams. We've done a preview for every one of the schools. Now, a lot of you have seen those. They've all been coming out over the last 10, 12, 13 days. We've been putting them out. Actually, it's been over 2 weeks because we've been putting them out during weekdays. Done one for every school. Had help for every school. We had someone that covers the teams or are in the media there that helped us break down what we look to see coming out of each team heading in to the 2025 season. There are 13 schools, like I said, and this show is going to cover all of the 13 schools this year, and we're going to count them down every week. Now that all the previews are out, there's something else I wanted to do. I wanted to do an all-Texas college football team. And we're going to do a first and second team on the offense and a first and second team on the defense. Now, I was going to do MLB All-Star rules. Now, for those of you that don't know what MLB All-Star rules is, I cover the Texas Rangers, so I've covered the MLB All-Star game and covered a lot of that. MLB requires that every team in the major leagues must have one representative at the All-Star game. Well, I figured in this situation, seeing there's 13 schools in the Texas College Football FBS division, that we needed to have at least one player from every school on offense and on defense. And so out of the first and second team on offense and out of the first and second team on defense, we will have at least one player from all 13 schools represented. That's the MLB All-Star. So what does that mean? That means there's some players on this list that are going to get snubbed. And I don't mean that as look, that should not mean that the player that got first or second team should be downgraded, or how could you ever put this person over that? They are good players on every team, but honestly, if you were going to do an all-star team or all-American team, you're probably pulling from about 6 or 7 schools, 6 or 7, 8 schools that probably have players that are, kind of up there that might get national attention. But I'm telling you right now, every Texas football school, FBS school, has players that are probably going to play at the next level or could play at the next level. They've all got kids that are, if nothing else, they definitely have a chance to be all conference in their conferences that they play in. And so with that being said, we're going to go with that, and we're going to make sure that every school is covered on both the offense and on the defense. So we're going to do a first and a second team, and let's kind of lay out what we're going to do. This is the offensive show. So this is the all-Texas college football team offense, first and second team, and here's what we're going to have on each one. We're going to have a quarterback. We're going to have 2 running backs. We're going to have 2 wide receivers, 5 offensive linemen that are first team and second team, by the way. And then we're going to have a kicker and a utility guy. What's a utility guy? Usually your punt returner or kickoff returner, something to that effect. One of those backs that maybe plays slot wide receiver, runs the ball some, carries the ball some, does some punt and kick return. Anyway, that's our utility guy on the offensive side of the ball. So that's what we're going to be looking at. There'll be a first and second team for each one. And we're going to start out at quarterback, and we're going to go with the first team. First team quarterback is going to be Kevin Jennings. Kevin Jennings from SMU. He's a redshirt junior. If you guys saw the preview of what we did for SMU with Scott Garner, he's a big fan of Kevin Jennings. Kevin took over the starting position last year. He started, didn't start every game, but ended up taking over. And the South Oak Cliff threw for, he's from South Oak Cliff, Texas, threw for 3,245 yards, 23 TDs, 11 interceptions, played well enough to get him to the ACC title game, and ended up losing that first game that they played in the CFB college football playoffs. I love him. He was my number 1 quarterback on the countdown that I had of the top 13 quarterbacks in Texas FBS. I had Kevin as number 1, so it would stand to reason that he was going to end up being the first team quarterback. Although my second team quarterback did not become my second team quarterback, or my number 2 quarterback in the countdown is not my second team all Texas FBS team. Okay, let's go to running back. First team running back. There's two of them. First one, Le'Veon Moss. Le'Veon Moss, a junior out of Walker, Louisiana, 121 carries last year at 765 yards and 10 TDs. He also had 10 catches for 141 yards. Suffered an injury, I believe, in the LSU game last year. Would have loved to see what he could do had he not gotten injured, and he's fully healthy coming back into this year. So certainly expecting big things out of Le'Veon this year. He gets my nod for first-team running back. The other first-team running back, Lincoln Perry from Texas State University. Lincoln Perry is a senior from Germantown, Tennessee. He's had 95 carries with 555 yards and 8 TDs last year. He also caught 12 passes out of the backfield for 134 yards. Lincoln Perry's this is a popular guy there in Bronxville at Texas State there, or in San Angelo. Anyway, watch for Lincoln Perry. That's who I have on there. Let's go to the wide receiver position. First team wide receiver, Caleb Douglas from Texas Tech University. He's a junior out of Missouri City, Texas. Last year in 2024, he had 60 catches for 877 yards, 6 TDs. Bayron Morton's one of his favorite targets. He's back again this year. Look for him to do good. The other first-team wide receiver, DeAndre Moore from the University of Texas. He is becoming one of Arch Manning's favorite targets. Last year, they teamed up really well. Did a lot at UTSA. DeAndre is back. He last year he's a junior from Anaheim, California. He had 39 catches for 456 yards and 7 TDs. Everybody around fall camp and from the spring says that him and Arch seem to be on the same page, and he might be a favorite target this year from Arch Manning. Now let's go to the tight end first team. First team tight end, we're going to go with Houston Thomas out of University of Texas, San Antonio. He's a junior out of College Station, Texas. Last year had 34 catches for 470 yards and 7 TDs. According to Darian Starling, who helped me out with the UTSA preview, he split some time. He wasn't the every down starter last year. Expect to get a lot more this year out of Houston Thomas, and big things there because he's got a returning quarterback also. All right, we're going to go to our offensive line. I haven't broken them down, guys, the offensive line from tackle or guard. I just went with 5 offensive linemen is what I went with for our first team. Our first-team offensive lineman is Trey Zune. Drew from Drew Tamu YouTube channel. We talked about Trey Zune. Trey is a junior out of Fort Collins, Colorado. He started every game last year at tackle for Texas A&M University. He is sure to anchor that line and be a part of a good offensive line that returns all their starters. Trey Zune leads the way. This guy's good, and he's looking to be on Sundays. I think Drew said actually that he thought that he might be more of a middle to late round guy, but would obviously be somebody that would play at the next level. Next, we're going to go to Omar Abidian from Baylor University. Omar started every game at right guard last year. A lot of talk about Omar as being an NFL player, and some think he might be a high draft pick. This guy played every game last year. Baylor is expected to be good this year. We'll see what happens there. Third offensive lineman for the first team, we're going to go with Colton Deary from TCU. He's a senior out of Glen Mills, Pennsylvania. Deary started every game last year for TCU, who had kind of an up-and-down season, expecting a lot of big things with Josh Hoover coming back, and he's going to anchor that offensive line for the Horned Frogs. Fourth name on here, Logan Parr from SMU. Logan started every game last year at left guard. He's from Helotes, Texas, playing for a team that made it to the college football playoffs. So you've got to give Logan that first-team nod there. Big things expected from him. And SMU should be good again at competing in that ACC. Look for some big things to come from SMU. Last on the offensive line, the only returning starter from the University of Texas on the offensive line, DJ Campbell. DJ's a senior out of Arlington, Texas. Started every game at right guard for UT last year. There's a lot of guys that look. UT's offensive line lost 4 starters. They've got a lot of guys that played last year are going to rotate in. DJ's the only one starting. A lot of this could be the 3rd or 4th guy in a row from that offensive line who could see become a high draft pick at the end of this year and end up going to that next level. DJ Campbell obviously out of Arlington, Texas, a big name going there. Now we're going to go to our first team utility guy. Utility guy is a guy that plays all over the place on that offense, and we're going to go with first team Cam Thomas out of University of Texas, El Paso. He is a redshirt senior. He's out of Birmingham, Alabama. He started all games last year at what's called minor back. Now, the Zy Galinda talked to us about that. They kind of do that spread option that they run. That's kind of a slot back, running back. He also was an all-conference punt returner last year. He's kind of a small scat back. Think of Cam Scatteraboo light. He's not Cam Scatteraboo, who for Arizona State University, who just destroyed most teams he played. But Cam Thomas here is sort of an all-around guy. Getting the ball in his hands, got speed, can make things happen. He's a very popular player with the University of Texas, El Paso. He gets my first team nod at utility. Now we're going to go to kicker. First team kicker, Randy Bond from Texas A&M University. He's a sophomore out of Plano, Texas. He played in all 13 games last year as a freshman, made 83.3% of his field goals and scored 106 points. And that's why he gets first team nod. Now we're going to go to the second team. Now, let me be clear when I talk about the second team, okay? I had in my 13 countdown, my top 13 countdown at quarterback, my number one quarterback was Kevin Jennings. He made first team, the first team all-Texas college football team. Preseason Texas college football team. Second team for me, or the number two player in that list, I had Marcel Reed. I think Marcel Reed brings a lot back. For Texas A&M, I think it's going to be really good this year. I like Marcel Reed. He did not, however, become my second team player. Now, everyone knows I had Arch Manning number 3 on my list. He also did not get second team all conference for me. I went with somebody else who really put up some eye-opening numbers last year, and he's from Baylor University, and that's Sawyer Robinson. Look, this is a huge year for Dave Aranda. Dave Aranda is looking for a bounce back. He's kind of on a hot seat there. But Sawyer Robinson took over the third game of the year last year, ended up throwing for over 3,071 yards, 28 TDs, 8 interceptions. You saw what they did down the stretch. Won 6 in a row there at the end. Ended up with a pretty good season last year. Look, there are some that are talking that Baylor may have a chance to win the Big 12. With Sawyer Robinson back at quarterback, with that team expecting to compete and be better than they were and not start slow like they did last year. And for Dave Aranda, who might be playing for his coaching life, it's good to have your returning quarterback back, and he's got a good one in Sawyer Robinson. Now let's go to second team running back. Now we got 2 of them. The first of the second team running backs, we're going to go with Bryson Washington. He's a redshirt sophomore out of Baylor from Franklin, Texas. Started 11 games last year. As a freshman, he ran for 1,028 yards and 12 TDs. And, look, we had Colton on to talk about Baylor. That was huge. I think that's a record for freshman running backs at Baylor University. Went for over 1,000 yards. Coming back this year, and if your quarterback is going to be successful, you have to have a running back. Baylor has 2 good running backs, but Bryson got second team for me because we can't have everybody. And like I said, this is MLB All-Star rules. Now let's go to the other running back position. For me, it was Quintravian Weisner. Everyone saw what Weisner did last year. Texas had 2 5-stars that got hurt before the season started and never got to play. Weisner was a 3-star coming out of DeSoto, Texas. He ended up playing 12 games. He started 12 games last year. He rushed for over 1,000 yards, 1,064. He had 5 TDs. He also had 311 yards receiving. Look, he expects to get a lot of the carries this year, but they're getting back their 5-star running back in Baxter. And they've also got a couple more coming back from injury too. So this could be kind of a stable of running backs, which, by the way, is something that A&M has also. But Weisner, for what he did, not expected to start last year, and what he did for a team that made it to the semifinals, you got to give the guy a nod, and he is a weapon to have for the University of Texas. Now we're going to go the second team wide receiver. Amari Thomas gets it from Houston. He's a junior out of Birmingham, Alabama. He transferred over from the University of Alabama, Birmingham. He played 24 games there, had 13 starts. He had 1,107 yards and 11 TDs. He's coming over now to have Connor Weigman throw to him. Wegman, who transferred over from A&M, looks like he's going to be the starting quarterback at the University of Houston. This is a 5-star talent that's going to be flinging the ball around, and now he's got a good receiver in Amare Thomas. The other wide receiver, Josh Cameron, wide receiver out of Baylor. He's another second-team wide receiver. From Cedar Park, Texas, started all 13 games. Last year, he had 754 yards receiving and 10 TDs. Sawyer Robinson's got someone to throw to there. He's got a good running back. He's got a good wide receiver. He's got a couple good wide receivers, to tell you the truth. But not all of them can make first and second team because we got to get everyone on there. Now let's go to the second-team tight end, Jack Endries from the University of Texas. This is the transfer from Danville, Texas. He came in from Cal, where last year he had 623 yards and 2 TDs. Apparently, from spring ball and fall camp so far, this is going to be this guy right here is going to be popular for Arch Manning. Look, Steve Sarkisian loves to use the tight end. You saw what he did last year at the tight end position, and they had a lot of production out of the tight end position. Well, it looks like Jack Endries is stepping in and doing a great job there so far. We'll see. Season's getting ready to start here in a couple of weeks. Jack Endries is the second-team tight end. Now let's go to the second-team offensive line, and the first guy on that list is Colt Dietrich from Sam Houston. He's a redshirt sophomore from Riesel, Texas. He played in all 13 games. He started 6 of them last year for Sam Houston. Big boy. But he gets the second team nod. He's the first offensive lineman on the second team All Texas College team offense. Second offensive lineman. This is part of that transfer portal class that Texas Tech had. Howard Sampson. Howard Sampson from Texas Tech University is a junior out of Houston. He was at University of North Carolina last year where he started 12 games. He has transferred over to be closer to home from Houston, now in Lubbock, Texas. And he was part of that. Boy, they spent a lot of money in that class last year. And that's what they got there. So now let's go to third one. Second team offensive lineman is P.J. Williams. P.J. Williams is from Dickinson, Texas. He's a sophomore with one letter. Last year as a sophomore, he started all 14 games, and 11 of them were at right tackle. Paved the way last year. Played good last year. He was really a horse on that offensive line. He gets the third position on that offensive line. Fourth one on second team offensive time, Armaj Reed Adams. I hope I said that right because I tend to butcher these things all the time. He's a redshirt senior out of DeSoto, Texas. He started every game at right guard. He's a part of that offensive line that have all the returning starters on that offensive line at Texas A&M. Reed Adams is another good one to have back there. And look, that offensive line with that kind of experience, if they can give some protection there and open up some running lanes, that's going to help Marcel Reed and that offense, which we think the defense is going to be good. They struggled some last year, talking to Drew Tammer when he was talking to us about it. But part of what's going to make or break this team, too, is that offensive line. And with 5 returning starters, you got to think with that experience it's going to help. The last second-team offensive lineman and number 5 on the second team, we're going to go with Trevor Gooseby. Now, Trevor Gooseby didn't start last year for the University of Texas, but he played a lot, and he's obviously taking over. He's from Melissa, Texas, played in all 15 games, and he did start 2 games last year out of Melissa. So Trevor Gooseby gets our last offensive line position. Now let's go to the utility. Quentin Jackson from Rice University. He's a junior out of Fort Worth, Texas. He had 933 all-purpose yards last year, 589 yards in kick returns. He plays running back, gets some carries there. We talked about him in the preview show, but he gets our utility second team. Quentin Jackson doing some big things there for Rice University. And for the kicker for Rice University, not from Rice University. Kicker, we're going to go with Callie Duguma. I hope I said that right, guys. Look, I never shy away from the fact that I can butcher names. He is a redshirt sophomore from Mission, Texas. He appeared in all 13 games last year and was the starting kicker for University of North Texas last year as a freshman. He's back this year. And if that offense scores like we talked about Eric Norris there Eric Morris there and how he might be on the hot seat. He's an offensive-minded coach. Defense is where they've got a new defensive coordinator. But if you're scoring a lot of points or driving the ball, the kicker could be important. And Callie Naguma could be a really big player this year. Look for him to probably score a lot of points if they're going to get in the end zone, whether it's extra points or get in field goal range. And we'll see that. Well, guys, that's it. That's the All Texas, the preseason All Texas college football team offense. What we'll do on the next one, we're going to do the all football defense. I appreciate you guys being around for this one until the defense comes out and we get started for the week. Guys, we'll see you at the yard.